What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Forex Chart Analysis. It is Monday, July 2nd, 2018. And last night was definitely good. If you guys played anything last night, about 90–95% of the pairs that we had continued in the right direction or made the moves that we've been waiting for, which is pretty dope. So with that being said, we're going to go see what has happened, what is happening, so that we can make fine-tuned predictions for what's going to be coming over the next, 12 hours. So let's do this. Euro USD yesterday, we talked about on the 4-hour, if you guys remember, we talked about how it was retesting this trend line, retested the 144 EMA, and then it took a hit. So it dropped, which is literally what we wanted. So if you guys would have played EU for a sell yesterday, you would have made some money. Multiple entries you could have gotten and wrote it down, but ultimately, it is going in and out, so there is technically no trend. It could do a couple things. It can either continue down. It could go consolidate here, and then it could shoot up. Why does it do that? Consolidate here, and then shoot up, then back down. There's a couple things it can do. But we got a bunch of retests here at the bottom. Let me go to the 4-hour. All right, so came down yesterday. This is where it's going to get a little tricky because of the fact that there is no trend right now. It's literally like going to be consolidated. If you guys see the EMA 50 here on that 4-hour, this is signifying that there is no trend here on the lower time frame. So that's why you're seeing the EMAs on the 15-minute going in and out of each other. So when it gets to this point, I don't necessarily recommend playing it short term because it can get in your head, it can mess with you. So let's kind of look at overall what we're seeing here on the 4-hour so we can kind of get a general direction. Hit that trend line, came down, pulled back. This could just be a small pullback, guys, and we could possibly see that continuation down tonight. But we'll have to see what happens. Continuation down maybe to this EMA, to this support zone, and then we could see that W to go back up. Or it could break it, retest it, and go down to that trend line. There's a couple things. It's a little too early to tell right now, especially because it's in the middle. Because if you guys actually see, it's sorry, I'm getting distracted. Josh, I hate you. This is the low. This is the high. It's in the middle. There is nothing right now. So if you guys want to look for a precise entry, wait for it to hit up, wait for it to drop down. You don't want to be sitting here guessing. But if you want my, expert opinion here, even though I'm not, a financial advisor of any sort, it's still a downtrend. So if you want my advice, go with the trend. Don't look for reversals. Don't look to go crazy with buys. Only way I suggest you guys buy this is if it takes out that trend line, comes down, retests it, and shoots back up. Or takes out this high at the same time and retests and comes back up. We'll have to be patient on that. Okay, cool. Let's go to U-Cheap. So be careful if you guys don't go crazy with it. Just wait for it to make a move, and then we'll go from there. It might make its move during London session tomorrow. Probably like midweek reversal. U-Chief did exactly what we wanted. Last night we drew up on here the 4-hour, hit the trend line, bounced right off it, and continued up. So if you guys caught any rise, awesome. But U-Chief is still doing the exact same thing. And overall, guys, it's been going upwards. So even on the higher time frames here, it's been moving up, took out the high, pull back. It's riding the trend line right here, bounce right off of it. My opinion, and from what I'm seeing here in the prediction, the RSI is over the stationary 50, indicating an uptrend. This can continue up. Easily retest that high, possibly shoot up. So if this is going to continue up, E is possibly going to continue down, retest that low, and then possibly look for reversals if it does not take out this zone. If it does not take out that zone, retracement right back down. Okay? This was pretty simple. I mean, it's still in the middle. I don't recommend it, but overall, I still see the continuation up. GBP USD, we had this first sell last night as well. Came down, didn't quite hit that trend line, but based on the trend, I told you guys stick with the trend, especially on a trap day. This thing could keep dropping. So it did. It kept dropping. Didn't take out that low. It's okay. So if you caught 50 pips, you should have easily caught 50 pips actually. From like here to here, it's like 75. So who is not muted? You. Gotcha. Going down. Let's see. Short-term trend line here. That trend line right there. It's going in and out of the EMAs. Go to the 15-minute real quick. With that low, retesting that Mayo right now. So this could do something like this. Drops down, hits that hits that trend line, doesn't take it out, throws wicks, patterns, goes back up. See these EMAs, they're getting really tight, meaning there is no trend, and it could, the technical part of it does seem to be more accurate on that. So you're either going to look for this, right, bounce off the trend line and back up, or break the trend line, retest the trend line, or retest the low, continuation down to the recent low here. Right there. Right. So a couple things. Overall, still a downtrend. You know, I'm not saying, you know, at any point, you know, I want you to predict the reversal on this, especially on GBP USD when this thing is clearly going down. Stick with the trend. Oh, look at that. Looks like it threw sauce right here on the 4 hour. Continuation shot down. Kind of validates what I was just saying. So y'all are looking for that. Looking for that little Selski. Let's see. Let's go to UJ. You looking nice, yes sir. All right, so UJ last night broke that trend line, came down, retested it, rose back up, but here's the high. Where is it? Here's this high. It's still below this this high right here. It could shoot up, retest that zone up to the top, and then drop back down. We can possibly see that going. Let's look at this. Let's see. Didn't really move. It kind of just went down, retested the water a couple times. Let's look at this 4 hour real quick. Perhaps.
Is there news right now or no?
No, there's 2 hours and 30 minutes. JPY. Here, this is probably just the JPY moving on its stop hunt or moving with the trend, whichever way. RSI is, or the TDI is still showing push where it's up, possibly into that overbought zone, which would be that high. It could turn around at any point, we'll see. But at the very second, I suggest waiting, guys. Waiting for this thing to form a little bit better. It's already making the move, so this wouldn't be a good time to enter at anything, especially since it's forming a new high here. It could, if you guys bought it, it could just retrace back down. If you guys sold it, it could just keep going up. It's in that sticky situation where you're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But overall, based on this daily, it was overbought. It is above the stationary 50. It is retesting coming up to this point. It could potentially retrace right back downwards and then continue that uptrend that we finally see actually on the weekly. So it's actually going up to retest that trend line up here. So that would be ideal for a possible retracement or wick coming. We'll see how it goes. But if we're looking at lower time frame moves right here, let's go to the 15-minute. Shooting hard. This is either the stop hunt or the remove. This is JPY. It's Asian session right now. So either stop hunt or it could come back, or it's going in the same direction. Here's the recent high. To the point, it's going into the overbought zone. So we'll see how this pair goes. It's way too late to play this right now, so don't touch this pair until you guys start seeing some sort of movement. If you see consolidation, it could reverse. If you see maybe a pullback to retest that trend line or the resistance line or support line, it could continue up. We'll see. We'll come back on this pair. We'll see how everything happens tomorrow, or if you're in the chat, you'll see how we're going to talk about it as well. AUD, USD, So AUD/USD continued down, and it kept taking out the low. Remember, if you guys would have taken this trade, taken it all the way back down to the recent support that we had actually drawn up here. So your take profit should have been hit if you would have taken this for a sell. Now, overall, just for like the time being, I still see overall downtrend. Clearly, divergence. There really isn't any here. I mean, it's divergent here, but it's still kind of moving. It's doing its thing right now. Let me delete this. What I see this doing over the next few hours, especially on this time frame, is this. It's been consolidating here, right? I'm expecting another push down to retest that low, where it will either push downwards and this will remain divergent. If it remains divergent, we can potentially see this thing shoot up to break that water. That will look something like this, right? And as it breaks that water, we'll look for that retracement down for the possible reversal back towards the upside. But again, this is overall a downtrend, so you gotta be careful of that. The only way I suggest buying this is if it breaks that water. Other than that, you're risking too much. We'll go to the 4-hour. Let's see. The 4-hour still divergence, not the divergence I'd like to see. So this thing could continue. We'll see how this goes. Let me see this daily. The daily is still within the volatility bands, and it's just riding that oversold, pre-oversold. Ooh. Is this what I think it is? That's sauce. That's potential. That's sauce, guys. This pair could actually just keep shooting down, just like I said. That's a railroad right on the catch-up. Continuation down. There is no divergence. Not the ones that I like to see. And AU likes to be showing divergence, but it will continue in the direction that it's going. So I'm going to say tonight, small pullback or continuation, just like I showed you on this hour right here. Potential either stop hunt high drop or consolidation straightaway drop. Overall, I want it to drop down to this low. So that's what you're going to be looking for. And that low, as of right now, from where it's at, is right here. Currently about 29 to 30 pips. All right. So if you wait for the precise entry, you wait for the actual setup, either M's, W's, stop hunts hits the 144, you can look for it to be a sell. Because it's not just going to just throw this pattern and not rise up. So it's not even divergent. So this is definitely going to be looking to continue, possibly stop hunt but drop. GJ. Dropped down last night, right off of that right off of the trend line we had. So it followed it to a T, went right down to the EMAs. So you would have taken take profit around this zone, possibly depending on where you entered. You know, nice 70 to 80 pips, depending on where you entered and exited. So let's go to this daily real quick. Daily still indicates a downtrend. Didn't break that trend line. So guys, we're still looking for sells until it breaks this trend line. If you guys see it, I mean, right now it's kind of just dropping and pulling back. I see this thing continuing overall. But guys, if this thing has like news or something happens, maybe it comes down and then shoots up, then you can look for that buy. But it needs to break this trend line. It has to. It's not gonna. I would not trade this for a buy any other way. We are seeing some nice movement here on the 4-hour. We do have divergence. You know, we have price going down. This. We have price going up here. So we do have divergence that does lead me to believe that this could possibly reverse, but it's not going to be definite until we see that break in that trend line. Then we can look for the definite buy. Mute yourself. Good talk. 1 hour. Yeah, I would just wait for this to either shoot up, wake off of it again, then drop, or drop, not take out the low, then shoot up, or drop, take out the low, pull back, then reach it all the way back down to this low. Does that make sense? This, or this. That's what we're going to wait for. One of those three. One of those three. EA. This is why we don't predict the reversals. We do have this thing setting up for head and shoulders, and yes, sometimes the head and the right shoulder can take out the area where it initially started. You're seeing it happen right now. So this is the high that was pretty much set out there. Make it like a nice resistance zone here, there, here. It could. I would wait for this overall because it's divergent still. It's going until overbought. This thing can still shoot down, continue up, shoot down, continue up, then drop, pull back, then drop, pull back, and then continue down. So anything could happen here. I just need you guys to be patient on EA. I do believe this thing will drop. It's just a matter of patience and waiting for the proper setup. So ideally, the best way for this to be a good setup would be, if it zooms in here, possibly dropping down to break that water right here, to then retest it and then drop down. Ready? So it would look like this. Essentially, this would be your entry right there. If it doesn't break it and it continues, drop down, bounce off the water, continue up for the recent high. Nice little buy. Water would look like this. All right. If that happens, we're looking at a nice. Come on. Really? This thing lagging. $47 pips, 50 pips. It'll be balling. Okay, cool. Euro GBP. It came down. Oh, let me delete that. So it came down to retest that. Let me see if I drew it up on the 4-hour. Told you guys it would come down to retest the zone, the support zone, and it did. Shot right back up. Wasn't the best, most volatile move, but that's what happens, especially when you break a high after consolidation for months on end. So I would ultimately just not play this pair. My opinion is just don't play it. It's not worth it. We get too emotional and shit. But overall, it's still shooting upwards. 4-hour. Let's see. Still shooting up. I would just stay with the trend, guys. It broke the high. It's retesting it. Look for buys, if anything. GBP AUD. Ooh, look what it did here. Put this right there. Came through. Here's the trend line. Stuck to it, and then broke it back to the upside. Guys, we can continue to see this thing rise, actually. We'll do the throw here. It's bouncing off that stationary 50 right off the water. Potentially, we are going to watch this thing rise. Just like that. And if this rises, that means AUD is dropping. AU. So it looking like this is going to be a nice little buy. Coming up to the top here, retesting these trend lines and support zones. This is looking good, guys. Looking good for a buy. So be ready for this pair. It might shoot up like very soon. Might shoot up very soon, especially to retest this resistance line. That would be so sick. It's wicking right now. Look at it. It's wicking right off of that trend line. Perfect. Wait for the pattern. W, railroad, rise. And then gold. All right, so gold. Overall downtrend. Have multiple areas of play here. Let me see. Let's drop this here. there. Still continuing. It's still inside the volatility band, and it's oversold, guys. It's actually squeezing here in the daily. So what happens is when the TDI gets really tight and congested in the oversold zone and stays within the volatility band, two things: continuation in the same direction, right? And / or, depending on the day, an intense reversal, right? So this could easily reverse right back up, retest for a W, and then shoot up for that reversal to retest these trend lines. That would be ideal. This is called a squeeze. So this is where you're going to have to wait for the patterns. And gold is a very, very basic. It's a commodity, but it does throw a lot of M's and W's. All right. So if it does not, guys, if it does not take out this low right here, we could potentially be looking for short-term buys. Potentially. It's wicking on it now. It's divergent. Price going down overall. And then you got price coming up. It could wick right here. And we could see that buy up. Potentially retest this trend line and then break it. Or retest the trend line and drop back down. Or potentially break it, pull back, rise again. All right? So let's see what happens around this area. Let's see what happens. It's resisting it now, so it should get interesting. And then, yeah, that's what we got. All right, cool. Does anybody have any questions real quick? And that's what we're looking at for these pairs. EU.
I have a question.
Yes, Josh.
Just kidding.
Oh, Joshua.
Am I gonna make $1 million this year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Good.
you are. Cool.
Okay.
EU. So EU continuation down, UCHF continuation up, GU continuation down towards that trend line if through daily sauce. USD JPY, possible continuation up, but it all depends. It could wick here. This could have been the stop point. We'll see how it goes. AUD USD continuation drop, possible stop punt high then drop. GJ is multiple things. I believe it's going to keep dropping still because it is an overall downtrend. Euro AUD, we're not touching until we at least see either a breakage in the water, or we could take it for another buy. If it comes down, doesn't break the water, but bounces off it, continues up. There's that. Euro GBP continuing with the buys, but I wouldn't really touch it because it's consolidating. GA possibly continuing with the buys, hence allowing AUD to actually drop. And then gold, we are waiting to see what happens here. We can either take it for a short-term buy, or you can hold it and see if it breaks that low and continue to sell. So a couple things are going on, but we'll see how everything goes after tonight. And we'll be back on tomorrow at 6. So with that being said, guys, no one's asked any questions. I'll post this up in the groups as a replay, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So let's kill it tonight. Be safe in the markets. Get these pips, and let's rack out. Peace out, guys.